the place where he'd grown up, the place that had so many memories. It was gut-wrenching for Toby to see it like this.
Did we
And
go? Did we go past the wall of photos again?
And it got worse. Wrapped around the garage front door was a stream of yellow tape and soon orange stickers from the sheriff's department announcing the property had been put in foreclosure.
The thing that's really pissing me off about what I was writing is it'll have a paragraph describing something, and then the next paragraph will say, "But it was worse than that." And it's just like every single chapter this happens about 10 times. It's driving me insane.
For Toby, this is just adding insult to injury. He and Benny climbed out of the Ford pickup. They examined the thick chain that was keeping the garage front door shut. The door's glass itself was dirty and smeared, the numeral 6565 barely readable anymore. It was a sad moment for both of them. "I heard they're turning into a Jack-in-the-Box," Benny told them. "Just what Mount Kisco needs, more junk food." Yeah, they should put an Applebee's up here.
Why did they not immediately go to Applebee's, right?
Maybe we get some breakfast sandwiches at the Mickey D's.
He should have gone to Applebee's, seen the same people there after 2 years, looking just like the same sad lives, and then realised something. Given up street racing, gone on a spiritual journey.
Toby tried to stay emotionless, but it was hard to do. "I'm just glad the old man isn't alive to see this," he said. "It would have broken his heart." Toby took a long look around, checking for cops. I mean, I do that too, so I understand. Certain the coast was clear, he kicked a small hole in the glass door. Wrapping his fist in his jacket, he kept punching the hole until it was big enough for them to squeeze through.
Wait, is in this scene, is he going to do something to get them inside? And then they'll be like, "Where'd you learn that?" He'll be like, "In prison." That's got to happen at some point, right?
He was the first to step inside. He just had to take it slowly. This place, once jumping with business, the sound of tools working, paint being sprayed, always with either loud rap music playing over the bedlam or Monarch's voice booming. Now it was quiet and dark and a mess. These guys live in the country. They're not listening to rap. Come on.
Yeah. Aaron Paul worked on this bit with Credence blaring out of the speakers.
This place that had been so special to him, first working with his father, learning the trade, and then their utter triumph in building the Mustang. Now, it was a place of vandalism. Thieves had broken in and stole all the tools. The paint room was riddled with graffiti. Even the car lists were gone. The inside looked worse than the outside. The photos that had been hanging on the wall had all fallen. Their glass frames cracked or shattered completely. Some of the pictures had turned yellow and wrinkled. Others were gone altogether. This was a snapshot of failure. Toby had promised his father to keep the garage open no matter what. Now it was like something found in a ghost town, a thing of the past. So what about the future, Toby thought, giving the place another long, sad look. Would it be better? Could it be better? He'd psyched himself up so much in prison, dreaming yet another dream, that he had been sky high. But looking at, as much as you can be when you're in prison, in the hole for a year.
He really likes Sky High.
But looking at the dilapidated garage and just how it turned out, he suddenly wondered if he'd been fooling himself all along. Would his grand plan be possible to pull off? His answer came a second later. There was a sudden, loud noise outside. The roar of a huge engine, the screeching of big tires, sounds that had not been heard anywhere near Marshall Motors building in a long time. A car had pulled up in the parking lot. Silver ghost finish, big wheels, extremely sleek and sexy. A wave of smoke from its exhaust reached Toby's nostrils, and he recognized it right away. Only a little more than 2 years had gone by, but it might as well have been a lifetime. This was the Mustang, the Shelby-designed supercar that had been built here and sold to Ingram when it seemed like a century ago. It was like seeing an old friend, one you never thought you'd see again. Then the Mustang's door opened, and an extremely attractive female got out. That's really great. Great.
That might be the great.
She was dressed in a way that would have made a supermodel jealous. Short, tight dress, high heels, dramatic hair. Of all that had already happened to Toby today, this stunned him the most. He knew her, but he hadn't exactly thought about her, not until this moment. In fact, he'd almost forgotten just how beautiful she was.
I thought it was going to go. she was dressed in a way that would have made a supermodel jealous for comfort. I would assume that this book is dumb and gross.
It was not Anita, though. It was Julia. Reminding you that this movie has 2 women. That's 100% more than most competing movies.
That's true.
Suddenly, it wasn't so dark and dreary around the Marshall Motors building. But while he'd been expecting the car, he definitely hadn't been expecting her. They met just outside the broken door. She smelled as good as she looked, but Toby had to stay cool. That's a really thing.
Back up! Back the fuck up! What on earth? What the actual fuck?
He's been in prison a long time. He's developed super smell for the ladies. Oh, thanks for the delivery, he told her, and thank Ingram for me. We won't let him down. Then Toby called over his shoulder to Benny. What do you think? First American car to win the De Leon? Benny laughed. Well, that's your big plan, isn't it? That's why Ingram loaned you his car? Toby held his hand, expecting Julia to pass him the keys, but she didn't. You don't even have an invite to the De Leon, she said to him sternly, her British accent in full throttle.
Yep.
Jackson, what's a British accent in full throttle sound like? Give it to me.
Okay. Probably just like this, just like normal. I don't know. What was the British accent? What is
Lean in accent.
What?
Can you do that?
Oh, so you mean be extremely British? But I can't actually be extremely British in the way this is expecting me to be, because I can't do sexy British lady voice, which is what it means. It means stereotypical sexy lady British voice, which I can't do. And
It's a big bummer.
I know.
It's by very special invitation only, you know, she said to him in full throttle. That's a whole different game. That's about motorcycles. I'll get an invite, Hope told her confidently. Believe me, Monarch is going to want this car in the race. But no one knows what race it's going to be, Julia said. At least not until you get the invite. So exactly where would you be racing off to? Toby looked back over at Benny, who smirked. Should I tell her? Benny asked him. Be my guest, Toby replied. On the down low, Benny said to Julia in a sort of conspiratorial whisper. Sort of conspiratorial.
Yeah, he is just filling for words with adding a descriptor like that before everything.
We've been doing some spying over the past couple of months, and we know that De Leon will be in California this year.
That's sort
We
of
just don't know where. But we know one of the drivers, and Benny! Toby half yelled at him. Loose lips! Benny got the hint. He shut up mid-sentence. I don't think that's a hint. Julie just shook the 2 of them. She was trying not to laugh. I admire your sense of adventure, she said. I have a little brother who's afflicted with the same thing. And your point is, Toby asked her. California's a big state, she replied, and you might remember my affinity for numbers. I'm a math gal. And what's your maths? She would have said maths.
She would have said maths, yeah. I wonder if in the film she will say maths. Because if she is British, the first thing she'll go is, what the fuck?
And what's your math saying, Toby asked her. She smiled again. The driver's meeting is always the night before the race, she said. So you have less than 45 hours to get from New York to somewhere in California. That's right, Toby said. So? Again, all she could do was shake her head at him. Let me see if I got this right, she said. Not only will you be violating your parole by leaving the state of New York, you're planning on driving for 2 days straight? Toby nodded simply. And your problem with that is? Just that you better get going, she replied, surprising him. It's actually 45 hours and counting. Toby held up his hand. Whoa, he said. You're not going anywhere. That's not part of the plan. She didn't back down for an instant. You need a right-seater, she told him. And more importantly, Ingram is not leaving this car in the hands of an ex-con. But Toby was having none of it. No way, he said, shaking his head. It's out of the question. First of all, I don't need you. And second, it's on me to fix this car if I damage it. And it's on me to keep you on it, she shot back at him. Now there's 44 hours and 59 minutes left, so let's go.
Things Toby is not allowed to get pissy about. This.
I mean, I'm sad that the rest of this movie is not just like a Cannonball Run, like Smokey and the Bandit cross-country trip.
Right?
Man, that'd be a way better movie.
That'd be way better. Oh man, you're right. I'm sad that it's not going to
Gotta get to the race, and then they don't get there in time, but they learn something about themselves at the end.
Well, they have the ends in terrible sex scene. Let's take a bet. When does the terrible sex scene between these two come? Is it 2/3 of
Is
the
it
way
on
through?
top of the car?
Yeah, is it at the end on top of the car? Is it 2/3 of the way through and then something bad happens to her? I don't know.
With that, Julia got back in the car and slammed the door shut. Toby was flustered. He looked at Benny pleadingly, but Benny didn't know what to do. Maybe we can shake her at a fuel stop? Toby half-whispered to his friend. Okay, no worries, boss, Benny replied under his breath. I'll help you dump her. But she's right, we're already behind her. So let's deal with it on the fly. I mean, at least she seems smart. Toby was still shaking his head. I know she's smart, he said, and also fucking gorgeous. But I just don't think I can take it. All the Toby used his hand to imitate a puppet chattering on endlessly. Benny imitated the hand puppet idea, saying, "You want me to dump her, boss? Yes, please, and follow me. Follow me. I'll take you on a ride from hell. She'll be begging to get out of that car. Word to the moms. Word to the moms." What does this mean? Can't just be like falling into pure minstrel. He's calling his white boss, and being the goofy conqueror. Like, this is the dumbest.
And also getting to the point of like, oh god, she just talks too much. God, you gotta get rid of her. And then, word to the mums, word to the mums. Christ almighty.
Benny smacked Toby on the back and walked away. Toby thought over the insult for a moment. Then he climbed into the driver's side of the Mustang. He felt a ripple of electricity shoot through him. This car. This beautiful car. That's a sentence. This car. Semicolon. This beautiful car. Period.
Hang on, semicolon.
It could just be on every page. And this book would be done.
Oh, I wish. This person knew what he was doing.
He never really thought he'd ever see it again, never mind be back behind the wheel, but here he was. Sometimes prayers are answered. That's not what his prayer asked at all. Give me a sweet car. Give me that sweet car I used to work on.
Yeah, that's...
He looked at Julia. She was smiling broadly back at him. He couldn't help it. He smiled too, briefly. Then he started the Mustang's massive engine, revving it twice, and off they went into Part 5 and next week's saga of Need for Speed.
Part 5, okay. So we're 4/7 of the way through.
We are halfway through the book.
I know, but in terms of parts, I hear Part 5 is most of it.
Okay.
I assume that's a big journey there.
Probably.
This is dumb.
Well. Oh yeah.
Supremely dumb.
The prison stuff was pretty hilarious though.
Right?
I will give it that. I had a good time.
It's going to be about 5 minutes in the movie, unfortunately, when it should be the entire thing.
Yep, pretty much.
Just him in prison going from immediately from, oh no, prison is the worst, what do I do, to murdering guys with pencils.
And then carving his weird made-up prayers into the cement. As he's like going on vision quests about all his past races. If the movie just embraced that kind of nonsense, it would be actually probably pretty good.
That's what that first trailer was. It was that prayer.
Pretty much.
So.
With opera and slow motion crashes and brilliance.
Yep. I'm gonna end the stream.
Okay, well, don't do it right yet. We gotta say goodbye to everyone. We'll be back next week. Will we? Are you watching it this weekend? The movie?
I will see it next week. Before the next stream.
Okay, but before we do this again.
Yes.
Okay, so we will have both seen the film by the time we do this again. I bet that will not make this book better.
I bet it will make it worse. Because I won't even be able to be surprised by anything.
I don't know. I feel like most of the things we've really laughed at are not things that would actually happen in the movie.
I feel like if we had seen...
Because they're usually like weird bad word choices or like juxtapositions that only exist in descriptions.
Most of the stuff that we've asked so far is all the setup for characters before they become the obvious characters they're meant to be, where they don't fill their roles at all. It's Dino saying hello.
The sky grew black and the water lost its vibrance. Hi, Julia.
Did it actually say the water lost its vibrance?
In midair.
No, they said that golden like mist or whatever lost some of its vibrance. That's literally in the phrase as like the shadow loomed large and the light seemed to dim.
This writing is something else, man.
Okay, we can stop the stream. Thank you everyone who watched this. You need to be sure to archive both